What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we finally reached step 3 of the Getting Your Canadian Permanent Residency series. We finally reached step 3 of the process, which is creating your express entry profile on the official Canadian government immigration website. If you've only just joined us, make sure to check out step 1 and step 2, which did include stuff about getting your ECA, which is your Educational Credential Assessment. So at this point, we've gone through all of that. So we've got our IELTS, we've got our ECA, and we've actually started preparing certain documentation that might be needed after the ITA. For those that don't know what the ITA is, that's the invitation to apply. However, that will come in the next couple of videos. So for now, let's jump straight into the computer and I'll show you guys how to go about the whole process and how to do it correctly too. So let's jump in. So here we are on my computer, and let's just do a quick recap and rundown of what we've done so far. So in step 1 of the Getting Your Canadian PR process on your own, we've spoken about getting your Educational Credential Assessment done. For those of you that don't know what that is just a way of the Canadian government of ranking your education or degree that you've done in whatever country that you've done it, and just ranking it with an equal and equivalent degree in Canada to see whether it is equal and equivalent. So why do they do this, you might be wondering? Well, because education standards are different in different countries. So for example, if you've done your degree in somewhere in Africa, or you've done it in Australia or somewhere in Europe or America, even though you may have that degree that officially says that you're an engineer or you're a medical doctor, however, in different regions it might turn out that the educational standards of that does not necessarily equate to the exact same thing in that country, if that makes sense. So that's the first step. If you guys haven't checked that out, or if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure you check that out first before moving on to these other videos. And then in step 2, we spoke about getting your IELTS done. And we spoke about how your IELTS are one of the only ways for you to actually improve your comprehensive ranking score in a meaningful way, because everything else just is what it is. You are a certain age at the point at which you apply. And at the point at which you apply, you only have certain qualifications. Yes, you may decide to go back to school and do another course or do a master's or something like that, but at the point at which you apply, your IELTS exam is really the only thing that you can literally just possibly apply for within a couple of days, do it and get a higher score. So we spoke about that, and then we also spoke about getting the first batch of official documentation ready. So this is stuff that will be needed after the ITA level, which is the invitation to apply. Of course, that'll be something that'll be mentioned and explained in more detail in a video in the future. Now we're at step 3, and step 3 is actually not as long as you might think or as difficult as you might think. It's simply just creating your profile, express entry profile, on the Canadian immigration website, and I'm going to be showing you how you can do that the right way. By the way, guys, if you ever happen to find yourself in Australia, make sure to check out Matzo's ginger beer. You won't regret it. One of my favorite drinks. So the website that you want to go to is the official Canadian government website, which is just canada.ca. So you want to pick English, and then once you get here, you want to go to immigration and citizenship. The next step, my application. And then you want to go where it says sign on or create an account. So once we get in here, you want to go to sign in with GC key, user ID and password. And here's the thing, if you don't already have a Canadian government or IRCC account, then you definitely have to go down here where it says don't have an account, register. So I've already done this before and I already have an account. So all I have to do is just go into sign in with GC key. So here is the account dashboard. And as you can see here, I already have history with some express entry profiles that I've put in. So I'll just explain that before anyone starts biting my head. So the very first one was on September the 5th, 2022. And this was something that I was testing within the express entry pool. I was testing different combinations, and this had something to do with my IELTS results. So I just wanted to see if having different scores would actually affect my express entry profile. As you can see, I wasn't eligible, and I actually think there's a certain combination that I picked that wasn't quite right. So that read ineligible. And then the second one, which was also on the same day, it actually did go through. And I believe for this one, I'd selected Alberta and just a number of other combinations, and it went through. But however, I withdrew my profile because at the time I actually wasn't ready to submit my profile. So you've got a couple of options. It says start an application. This is the section that you want. You've got apply to come to Canada. You've got refugees, apply for temporary healthcare benefits. Then you've got citizenship, apply for a search or proof of citizenship. And then you've got students, transfer schools. The obvious one that we need is apply to come to Canada. And you see in the description below, it says includes applications for visitors visas, work and study permits, express entry, and international experience Canada. All programs that have also been explained in some of my previous videos. So again, if you're just joining us, make sure to watch part 1, part 2, and perhaps even all the other videos just to make sure you understand everything that's going on. So click on apply to come to Canada. It says here, personal checklist. So if you have already completed a come to Canada or express entry wizard, you would have received a document checklist or personal reference code based on the answers you provided. So if you have that, you put that here. But if you do not have that, you may answer a series of questions to find out if you're eligible. Again, this is another checklist that the Canadian Immigration and Refugees and Citizenship Canada is using just to make sure that you are eligible to even apply for express entry to begin with. So you've got 3 options here. You've got a visitor's, study or work permit, express entry, and international experience Canada. And in our case, we obviously want to go for express entry, and it will then ask me a number of questions in a questionnaire. So it says, find out if you're eligible to apply. Which province or territory do you plan to live in? So let's go right in here. For me personally, that is Alberta. So make sure you pick the right option here. Just to reiterate, it is very important and crucial just to be honest, guys. Just be honest with your answers, because you do not help anyone by lying. If anything, lying will actually work against you, because all that means is that you're gonna say stuff that isn't true about yourself and your intention and your profile. And then at a later stage, if you do get that invitation to apply, you simply just aren't going to be able to prove that. So in the end, you're the one that loses anyway, because you lied about something, right? So just make sure you're completely honest, guys. Do not lie when it comes to immigration, refugees, and citizenship Canada. I repeat, do not lie. Just be completely honest. Even if you feel like it works against you and your profile, just always tell the truth. Then it says, based on your answers, you appear to be eligible for express entry. When you click on continue, you will be guided through the following steps to complete your profile. Complete the express entry profile builder, review your profile, then submit it. After you submit your profile, you will see a page that confirms that your profile has been submitted. It will have more information on these steps shortly after you submit. You will also receive a confirmation message in your account. Okay, so let's click continue. There we go. So at this point, we can actually start completing stuff for our express entry profile. So it'll ask you, what is your last name? Okay, there we go. So here's our express entry profile. It says complete your online application by choosing a section below. You should review your application before you send it to make sure that it is complete and accurate. So it's taken my name and created a candidate express entry profile. And really, the application process is really simple and self-explanatory. So you want to begin with your personal details, followed by your contact details, your education, and then you want to go for your application details, and then you want to declare whether you're using a representative or not. So in our case, we won't be declaring anyone here because we are not using an agent. So this is only really relevant if you're using an immigration agent. And then you want to put in your work history. So let's go straight into it and start with our personal details. So again, guys, most of this stuff is self-explanatory, and I'll just sort of skim through it and finish the form, and then we'll just go through it at the very end once it's all complete. So I've pretty much filled out all the forms, guys, and this is just something that I advise you to do. So after you've done everything, make sure to go through each section one more time, if not two, and if not two, three. Make sure to check it, cross-check it, do it again if you have to do it again. Make sure that everything that you have in your candidate express entry profile is accurate and correct. There's no point of you putting in stuff there that is not real and that you won't be able to prove after. So top tip, guys, just be honest in your application. You really aren't doing yourself any favors by putting in stuff in there that is not true. So I've gone through everything at least 3 times now, and there's just a few noteworthy forms that I just wanted to mention. So there's this form here that says the application or profile details, and there's this one here that asks you which provinces or territories would you consider living in. And so with me, I am 100% set on Alberta because that is the province that I want to move to. I want to move to Calgary. So I didn't pick all provinces and territories. However, if you're a person that's unsure, or perhaps you might be a little open to multiple provinces, or you're just unsure, you could obviously pick the ones that you want and go with all provinces. In this case, I am just 100% certain that I want to go to Alberta. There really isn't a point of me picking any other province because I'm really not looking to move out there, if we're being completely honest. The last form is a work history form. I've already filled that out. And for me, it is quite a lengthy work history. So I really took my time to get that one done. However, take your time, guys. You're not in any hurry. Make sure you get everything correct and make sure that everything that you put in there, you can prove later on. First and foremost, do not lie. Make sure that everything can be proven. So basically all my roles that I put in here and their corresponding NOCs, and I've also put in so this will definitely correspond with my work reference letters as well, which I've gotten from all my employers from the last 2 or so years, which is what this covers. So keep in mind, guys, that this is where those NOC codes we've spoken about in the past come into play, because basically what you're saying is that I have already worked in this particular NOC as this and that for this long, for this company in this country. And when I move to Canada, I intend to work in a similar NOC profession. And that's how they'll be able to evaluate your experience and whether they'll be able to apply that to your profile in terms of your CRS score. So there we have it, guys. So we have transmitted our Express Entry profile and we are now officially in the Express Entry pool. So what this means from here onwards is the hardest part of the application process, which is basically just waiting. This is the process that we literally have zero control over, because all we can do now is just wait to hear back from the Canadian immigration. So, you know, whether that's within 3 months or 6 months or 8 months or 12 months, who knows? It's different for everyone. And all you can realistically do at this stage is just wait, unfortunately. So thanks for joining in for this video, guys. This has been step 3 of applying and getting your Canadian permanent residency all on your own. And this was creating your Express Entry profile. We'll be moving on to the next steps in a couple of weeks, and I'll be posting those videos. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to hit that bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.